Hi, my name's Martin Kemp. You know me most probably as Steve Owen or The Craze or Spandau Ballet. To me, I'm just a dad. In an earlier life, I was a greengrocer. Oh, I did a lot of jobs. I came out of school and I did stuff like handing out Miss London magazines at tube stations. I worked in the greengrocers. I worked in several shops, paper rounds. I did everything. Attitude is very important. Now, I've carried around this saying with me ever since I was a small kid. And I think it came from Anna Scher's children's theatre when I was younger. And that is, you have to believe to achieve. And that's kind of stuck with me all the way through. And I think it just says you have to believe where you're going to get there. The biggest thing that you can have when you're looking for a job, I think, is confidence. And going to a drama club, if there's one around you, is worth every minute, because it's something that confidence is something that you need, not just to become an actor, but you need it in a job interview. Every different thing that I'm asked to do, I research it and I find out about it. I get on the internet and I find out about your names and I find out about who you are. So that when I go to an interview and I'm talking to someone about getting the job, I've got something to talk about. So I'm not just sitting there answering their questions. So it becomes more of a conversation than just them firing questions at me. I experienced unemployment for about 4 or 5 years, and it was, I'll tell you when it was about 1995. I was working really well. I came out of Spandau Ballet. I went over to live in Los Angeles for a while, and I was working in Hollywood doing TV constantly. And so I was on a really good run. And then I came crashing down because while I was working in Canada, I was doing something called the Outer Limits. They were pulling on this bald cap on me because I was playing this scientist who invented this pill for everlasting life, and it all went wrong and he starts to deteriorate really fast. So they were pulling on this bald cap with these wisps of hair, and there was this huge lump on the back of my head, and it was my skull that was growing out of shape. So there had to be a reason for that. So I went straight home the next day, had an MRI, and I found that I had 2 brain tumours, one on the outside, which was the huge lump, and then one right in the middle. It put me out of work for 4 to 5 years. The big lesson from it that I got is that you mustn't overspend. You have to live within your means for a certain period of time. It's no good saying I'm going to bung all this on a credit card and because I know I'll get another job in a year's time. Don't do it. My dyslexia came from the brain tumours that I had in '95, and it's a very strange thing, dyslexia, because when you talk to people about it, they say, everybody says, oh yeah, I have some of that as well. And unless you've got dyslexia, you don't understand it. You like, I read in lumps. I'll read lines on a script, but when you read and it's your periphery that kind of, you kind of like, as you're reading along the line, you read the periphery in your head before you get there. But I don't see the periphery. It all jumbles up and mucks up, messes about. So I can't read fluently. But I find, as long as I give it more time and I kind of, sit there, I know it's going to take me twice as long as everybody else to read a script. You just have to work around it. It's about PMA, which is positive mental attitude. You have to be positive. Now, it's really easy to say that, and you might have kind of 30 or 40 disappointments in your life before you get to that place you want to get to. But you've kind of got to override those disappointments. You've you can't take the weight of the disappointments, 30 or 40 disappointments, into that meeting. That meeting that you go to get that one job has to be your first meeting in your head. You have to imagine that that is the only meeting I've ever been to in my life, and I'm going to get that job.